Let's talk about property maintenance, expenses, and if our resident should have an expense in the process. How am I putting all of these things together? Well, specifically, there are many out there, owners, property management companies, that charge the resident a maintenance fee or a deductible for making a maintenance request. Now, why would one do that? Oftentimes, the goal is to reduce maintenance calls for items that are unnecessary. And while that may be a good thought, what's the side effect? What's the consequence of doing this? Well, as we've talked about maintenance, proactive maintenance versus reactive maintenance, we want to make sure that the property is in good condition. We want to make sure that the resident is comfortable giving us a call. So when we throw in a deductible or a maintenance request fee, does that encourage phone calls? Does that encourage the resident to pay attention to what's going on the property? Or does it change the thought to, I'm only going to call if absolutely necessary because I don't want to pay this fee? Now think for yourself for a moment. Maybe you've rented in the past. Why did you rent? Maybe it was at a younger point in your life. You were still in school. It was your first place. And you wanted to get out on your own, but you also wanted less responsibility. Maybe it was to save cost. Maybe you knew you were going to be moving. Whatever the reason, you rented for a reason. One of which being the property maintenance is not your responsibility. It's the owner's. Now, as a good resident, you saw an issue, you want to call it in so that repairs can be made. But now, if I'm going to pay a fee, is it an important enough issue to call in, or can I just leave it alone? When I move out, they'll deal with it then. Going back to the video on proactive versus reactive, which category is that going to put maintenance in? Have you thought about it? Well, let's take 3 examples of maintenance items that are common. The AC system. The AC system breaks. Now here, I'm in Florida. Florida is hot, 10 months out of the year. Do we want our AC working? Absolutely. But what happens when the AC goes down in those cooler seasons? Do we really need heat all the time in Florida? In that brief window of not hot, we do have some very nice days where sometimes just opening the window can be quite nice. Maybe I don't need to call in the AC today. But what's going to happen? Something important is going to happen, and now it's going to become an emergency. Which way is better to deal with that AC system? In the emergency? Or maybe on a Monday afternoon when you have the entire week ahead of you? Now let's think about the dishwasher. Dishwashers are a wonderful convenience. However, in their design, there are things that break. Today, as things get more and more advanced, the circuit boards can be a common problem. Is there anything the tenant could have done to have caused the circuit board to break? Generally not. But what if they don't use the dishwasher that often? We don't need to worry about that. We hand wash most of the time anyway. But what happened to all of that water sitting in the bottom of the dishwasher? What happens to all of that water sitting and they leave the door cracked? Where's that water going to evaporate, or that odor going to evaporate to? What happens if it was repairable, but now it sits for 6 months before those tenants move out? Maybe they stay a year and a half. Will you be able to repair that dishwasher? But you avoided a call because they didn't want to pay the fee. Now let's think about the garage door. Yes, a resident can bump the safety sensor. Does that happen? Absolutely. But is that the only problem that comes up with a garage door? We have a spring that takes the weight off the door. We have cables. We have motors. We have gears. We have circuit boards. We have all kinds of other items with our garage opener and motor and function. How many of those are going to be the resident's fault for it breaking? Maybe one. Well, what if they have the garage packed with stuff because they came from up north where they had an attic, and in Florida we do not. So the garage becomes storage. Well, I don't need to open the door. I just have stuff in there anyway. I come in through the front door. Did you do the property inspection? Did you see the condition of the property? Or was your first visit when you were showing a new tenant? You like the fact that you have a garage door opener. It's very convenient. But it's not working. Oh, Mr. Owner, I forgot to tell you because I didn't want to pay the fee. It was broken. How does that look? Now, will you still be able to repair the garage door opener 6 months, 12 months down the road? Sure. But what's the presentation? Maybe you have a resident that now has 5 or 6 things that need to be taken care of. So they decide they just want to move somewhere else. Maybe to a property management company or a property owner that maintains the property better. This year, traffic's been a little bit slower. So what if it now takes you an extra month, maybe an extra 2 months to replace that resident? Was it worth that fee? I'm not telling you what is right for you, but just a thought. When you look at your process, when you look at your policies, when you look at your lease, we are in the business of providing a living space to other people, a space that people want to enjoy, a space that people want to be comfortable in. So how about we give them a property that they enjoy staying in, a property they're going to stay in as long as possible. And that way you can have a positive rental property and enjoy the business of owning investment properties. My name is Baron McWright. I look forward to talking to you very soon.